Thank you for joining us in the Growth Now movement. We are Justin and Zach, two entrepreneurs who wanted to bring you people's amazing stories of inspiring growth in business and in life. So let the growth begin. Hey guys, Justin and Zach here. Thank you so much for your continued support and for continuing to listen to the Growth Now movement. Today's episode's special. Our guest, Craig Poole, has over 50 years in the hospitality business and is one of the best hoteliers we've ever met. But you see, this episode isn't about him. This episode is about thinking about others. This episode is about growing a community. We tackle things like, why is it important to impact the community in a positive way? How do you remain positive in your pursuit of happiness and growth when everyone around you is doubting you? In this episode, there are so many golden nuggets, and we hope you take away as much as we did. Without further ado, let's get to Craig Poole, and let's get to this amazing episode. Well, first, I just want to say, Craig, thank you so much for joining us today.
No, I appreciate being here today. Thank you for asking me.
Absolutely. And I mean, just to kind of dive in, we're really excited about talking with you today because we were two of the fortunate people to meet you when you first came to Reading. I think it was 3 days in. It was on your third day here. We walked into your hotel, and you were showing us around, and we were literally blown away by your hospitality.
Thank you.
And that's really what you're all about, is making people feel like they're worth $1 million. And that's huge. And realistically, with this new hotel, the DoubleTree Hotel here in Reading, you're literally changing your community. And that's really what we want to talk about today. But let's start almost from the beginning and say, what really drove you to the hospitality field? Why is it your mission to improve others so much?
Wow. It drove me a long time ago, first of all. So I can't go back that. I've been doing this. This is my 51st year in hospitality.
Wow. So
to go back that far is hard, but it's always about serving others and creating memorable experiences. And it's that servanthood part of you. Some of us were made to be servants and to help lead people to be servants. So I became a pretty good servant, a good waiter, a good busboy, a good bellman. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And passionately. So I grew up in the ranks and ended up having some pretty good jobs. And so it's really, I think it's in your blood. You have some people are made to be musicians, and some people are made to be great carpenters, and some people are made to be pretty good hoteliers. One of those pretty good ones. I've been doing it long enough now. Made enough mistakes and a lot of successes.
We walk around town and we meet a lot of people when we're here, and everybody seems to know who you are.
Yeah, they do.
And I think that attributes to the fact that you are about community. But one thing we wanted to kind of tie into this is we talk about how the growth of the community can help grow a business or help grow you personally. What was that a thought, or did it just happen? Did you think at one point you're like, well, if I grow the community around me, everything else will prosper, or is it I just want to help people?
Both. Yeah, it was two things. First of all, I'll tell you how I got here. I have a reputation for working in community, mostly in the urban community where maybe it's a little blighted. And I work in hotels that have had a hardship or misrun. So the hotels and the community is kind of the same situation. And when I came here, I really came for the city of Reading more than the hotel I came to fix, which was a hotel I ran in another part of the city. And we fixed the hotel. But my dream was always to get into the urban part of Reading because everybody talked bad about it. And I thought, no city is bad. There's something wrong with the culture of the city. Can I come down and help change the culture? Can I help? And why is it like this? Why could it be great for many, many years? And all of a sudden it has a few decades of poverty and crime because it's just the same. It's the same city with just same people. And what happened? So I came here and I started walking the city by myself. I would walk into a lot of the stores, and it was like the INS walked in or the police chief walked in, and people were scattered. I thought, what a shame! I'm just a guy walking into a store with my only focus was to learn why they're here, what they're doing, and then I took a Latino leader with me. We walked to the same exact stores, and they opened us with welcome arms, and they brought food and cookies, and everybody was passionate and loving and family. And I thought, okay, this is a really big disconnect. How can we connect that? And I've got to walk and learn more. And pretty soon this hotel came up, the DoubleTree. And Mr. Boskoff said, would you come here? And of course, I've said I was made to come here. Because it puts me at the point of impact, what we call the center of influence, right in the middle of the city. It couldn't be a better place for me to be located. And a lot of people said this is not going to work. Nobody's going to go to Reading and nobody's going to go downtown. And I said, people will come if we do something remarkable. If we're not remarkable, they're not going to come. So the past year, try to answer that question now, I've been walking the streets, meeting the owners of, I think, every business, and to give them a story of hope that we're going to open this hotel up. And this hotel is going to have not just a hotel that we're opening up for us, it's a hotel we're opening up for all of us. Because it's a big property. It's going to bring a lot of people in. And when you bring a lot of people in a hotel, you bring a lot of millions of dollars into it, millions of people, but you bring millions of ancillary income. And we know that there's at least $1 million of ancillary income, flow through dollars that they're going to come here and spend in the surrounding area. So I wanted to get these stores prepared for that. And as I met a lot of them, I found out for lots of years, they're kind of in they're all silo businesses. They haven't been joined hands. They don't know each other. They become very dependent on the government, almost like standing in line waiting for a handout instead of being entrepreneurs doing what they were meant to do. Now, they came here, their forefathers, when this was successful, they came here and they cleaned up their own sidewalks. They took care of their next door neighbors. They would share. That's all the sidewalks started because people said, let's build a sidewalk together.
Right.
And it became they called it a mercantile tax back then. And we all shared in fixing up our area. And all of a sudden, in the last so many years, it became we are a renter, and it's like inside I have this, but outside you have this. So that it became a kind of a blighted situation on the purpose of people not being led by the government or by the city leaders or by their own selves. And they kind of just park their cars, they go in their stores and they try to manage them. And as their market share changed, they changed with it, which was backwards, not forwards.
Right. Yeah.
And they ended up with this blighted situation. It's still the same stores that people made millions of dollars in before. It's still the same streets. It's still the same thing. So how do you recreate that? So I was meeting with everybody saying, think differently, change your store. Well, we can't change our store because this is our market and we don't like our market. I said, you have to be the change you want to be. If you want to change, you have to change. So I've been trying to lead everybody the last year of what's going to happen, get in prepared. It's a story of hope, a story of a promise that we'll do this. If you pick your business up, if you get prepared for us, we will send our businesses to you. We did it all the way to the point that we bought transportation here to take people back and forth to restaurants. We're going to actually pay for some happy hours to get them kick-started so we can get the people we believe in to grow their income. So hopefully they'll buy the store next to them or they'll expand down here and they'll share the wealth in the city.
Right.
So it's we're starting a movement. We're helping the businesses that we believe are able to be part of the movement, help them expand, and hopefully they'll either expand their building because they have to, or buy the guy next to them because we don't want him to succeed. We want him to go find another silo.
Right.
It came under the bar. They slipped in through the night. They opened up a store, and it's not a good store. It's not. They're not good businessmen, and they're not paying their taxes, and they're paying under the table, and they're not. They're a part of the underworld economy, not of the real world economy. It's all about them making money and not them making it a debt in society. When you're just about paying under the table, then you really don't care about people.
Right.
Because then you only care about those people, maybe, but you don't care about all people. So we built this. This was a parking lot for many years, and now it's a beautiful hotel. So it's the vision. Imagine the vision of Al Boskoff to look at a parking lot and say, this is going to be a remarkable hotel. So parking lot to a hotel, and it's just gorgeous. So he had the vision. He wanted to be remarkable, and it's very remarkable. We put together a remarkable team of people. So this hotel was meant to make a difference in life. It was meant to change a community. So how we're doing this is we put a remarkable product in, because if you change, when you change the environment, you change the behaviors.
Right.
We hired people, 164 people, and probably 70+% are walk to work, and probably 80 or 90% of that are Latino. Mm. And a lot of these people were making maybe no money, or maybe they had bad jobs. They were being treated poorly because they worked in these silos. They weren't respected. And we said, if we're going to be in a community and make transformational change, we have to change. It starts with us. We have to be the change. So this hired these people, all these people, but this only hired happy people. So when we did our interviews, we had 1,800 people show up across the street at the Santander for the first interview for 160 jobs.
Man, wow.
Right. Of course, we didn't know that.
Yeah. Right.
We weren't prepared for it, but we interviewed as many as we could. Sure. Maybe, I don't even know how many, I don't remember, 500 out of that.
Wow.
But you saw that the need, it's a tearjerker when you see this is how many people want a job. I went through the line and I picked out happy people. Just like Walt Disney walking through Disney World, I looked for the people that were happy. I'd say hi to the crowd. I went through every person that was standing there and said hi. 1,800, I believe. Mm. And the ones that were happiest, I pulled aside. And then we brought them inside and we had interviews. And one of the first questions was, what do you think of Reading? And if they didn't like Reading, we didn't hire them. Mm. What do you think is going to happen to Reading? If they didn't think there was hope for Reading, we didn't hire them.
Wow. Let me ask you this, and I'll just follow up to show you. I just want to show people where your hope comes from nothing. Out of all those people, when you said, what do you think of Reading? How many of them didn't see a future?
A lot. Too many.
And I was curious about that only because I probably wouldn't get the job. I would have said the same thing. And it's almost, you have to change your vision and the way you look at things. Almost put on a different set of glasses, so to say. And honestly, Craig, you did that today for me. And I can't speak for Zach, but you see this city and you see all these people that have tried and it didn't seem to work. And I'm literally seeing a man who comes in and he has a vision and he walks out there and he goes, I'm not going to allow you or anybody else who is negative to change my thought process. I'm just going to change your thought process. What got you to that point? I think it's really hard to be the single man who says, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. I know the end of the story. That's the secret. I know what it looks like when it's done. I have the vision of what this city is going to look like, and not in the near future. So if I have that vision, and I know we're going to get there, I don't want any negative behind me because they become the work. They become the people, all the bricks that hold you back. Right. It's a force of movement, and positive nature and positive people that have the vision to get to the end can get to the end. Because there's going to be hurdles and people are going to be throwing us under the bus and they're going to be, naysayers. But when you have the vision and you know you're going there, you're going to get there, it doesn't matter what people say. Right. You can't you put a wall up, we just go through it, we go over it, we tunnel under it, we blow it up, we go through it because it's there. It's there for everybody, not just for this hotel, but it's there because it's supposed to be there. And people really want it. And the more we show it, the more people want it too, by the way. I mean, they're excited.
Right.
We're watching a huge turn of attitudes and people coming down.
I love it.
But they're buying the vision. But somebody has to start with a vision, and then you have the mission, and the mission is in your passion, the fire in the belly. And that's why we hired those people. What do you think? I wanted to change. I want you. I want you. We didn't care what their record was. We didn't care their past. We didn't care if you had any experience. All we cared about, do you care? And if you care, we got it. We'll make it. We only needed 164 people. We didn't need 1,800. And out of that, we found 164 people.
That's great.
And they get checked every day. There's always a smile check, a happiness check. If it looks like you're not happy, we pull you aside. What are we doing wrong? Are we the problem? Because if we're the problem, we need to know, we need to change. But if we're not the problem, we coach you, and then we change you. We don't stay long. We don't keep unhappiness here.
Right.
So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's amazing because with this city especially, you don't really see how much people want this until somebody comes in and does it.
Right.
It's incredible. And I mean, the 1,800 people that showed up, you only needed 160 some jobs. I mean, that's something pretty amazing.
Yeah, but nobody ever had a job fair like that.
Yeah.
They weren't offering great jobs.
Yeah.
And these are jobs of changing the inequalities of life around, too. We're not just changing the job and hiring people. We hired people and we said, let's give them great food every day. Because in my stories, I always say great food isn't just meant for rich people, it's meant for poor people. Because great food is good for it's good for their hearts, it's good for their stomachs, it's good for their souls, it's good for their self-esteem. So we feed our staff for free every day, because some of them have not eaten well for many years. Great food. We're changing their diets from getting people off of flour and sugar and bad foods, because there's a high amount of diabetes, a high amount of high blood pressure, and hospitals are overloaded.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going to be a good community citizen, all of us, anybody who does business, you have to be thinking not about just your business, but what about the emergency wards? What about the health, the sustainability of the area? And how do you change their diets? Not that I'm a great diet person and a dietitian, but I care about people that work for me, and I care about them going back to their houses. And if I give them great food, if I give them great uniforms, if I give them great locker rooms, if I give them great employment, and I pay them more than give them a higher share than anybody else so they can change their lives, then they're going to go back into their families, and they're going to change their lives with their children and their husbands or wives and the next door neighbor and the next door neighbor, and one whole neighborhood, one whole block at a time. So a lot of the people we hired were strategically hired in certain areas, so we get into certain blocks. And then we get into certain bodegos, and then we can grow a community. Right now we're meeting with Habitat Humanity because we know that if you make $35,000 a year, you have a family of 4, we can get you home ownership, great home ownership in a brand new real home, a home that we put $150,000 in. They'll buy and be a homeowner and pay, instead of $900 or $1,200 rent, they pay $600 mortgage, they get tax write-offs, and they have home ownership. If you have home ownership, you have less truancy.
Right.
If you have less truancy, you have less crime. So it's all, how do you take your business, only 184, or maybe it's 84, or maybe it's 8. And how do you employ people so they go and change their world and their neighborhood and feel good about themselves?
Man, especially today, it seems like a lot of, we'll say companies or even hospitality establishments, call it hotel, call it restaurant, they don't look at it like that. They look at it as, okay, I want to make sure I can be profitable this week or this month. You want to be profitable, but you look at the people more than anything. And it's not like you're looking at just the hotel, you're looking at the community and creating a lifestyle, not just an employment. When did you think of that would work? I mean, did you always think that way?
Yeah, probably forever. I don't know. Long time.
Yeah.
Long time. I've always have, when I was in Pittsburgh, we put a place up in the middle of the city, pretty bad area, and it became very famous. And we worked with Crips and the Bloods, and we worked with poor neighborhoods. And now those same homes that were like $11,000 a month or $11,000 purchase are now $300,000, $400,000 purchase. So we saw the transitional change. We saw people change, and some of those neighbors still live there, and maybe their houses, the same people live there. It's not that they got relocated.
Right.
Life got relocated. And what we did is we created communities where it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or black or white. All that matters is that you love each other.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares about if it's a BMW in front of your house and a 57 Ford Fairlane in front of your house. It's about loving your neighbors for who they are in front of you. And there's a new world out there that's doing that. Mostly the millennials, they're more forgiving than the older people, but it's real. And these homes here are real. These are beautiful architecture, beautiful homes. It's a great city to walk to work, to bicycle in. It's just people have not felt loved. Mm-hmm. Therefore, if you don't love me, I don't love you back, right, kind of thing. Nobody's felt it. Nobody's given it. So now we're giving it, and it's converting. And love's stronger than hate. Some people still hate what we're doing, by the way. But
really?
Yeah,
amazing.
It's amazing.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and not to cut you off, I apologize, but there's times, and we can look at everything as a goal, and everybody has a different goal, and yours is to change a community, change a city, change a county, whatever it may be. There's going to be times in your life where you get kind of sideswiped and you go, well, that's not how it was supposed to happen, or something kind of tears you down a little bit. But I've known you for 7 years now, and your enthusiasm for it has not changed.
Right.
And your goal has not changed. And so one thing I want to kind of give our listeners is how do you keep that enthusiasm up? What keeps you going when things aren't going your way?
Right. Well, I think that's a great question. I would say that I'm on a mission. I always check myself all the time. Am I doing the right thing? Is it the right thing to do? Mm. If I believe it's the right thing to do, and I've been doing it for a long time, and it's my bit, and is it going to create the right effect, then I just keep doing it. You can't take me away from it. Because at the end, I win. Mm-hmm. So people want to get in your way, and and people do. I mean, they like it when you're on top to throw the stones at you. But that's okay. That's part of life. But you don't pay attention to them. You don't let them in your life. You don't let them crowd you. If it's on Facebook, you block them. Because you don't want that negative. You don't read about it. You don't want to read negative things about yourself, because what's the value of that? I might start believing that, but I don't believe it. I believe I'm on a right mission. I think I'm doing the right thing. So I just block people. I stay away from them. I won't answer their emails. You just go away, because that's why bring it into your life. Why? What's the value? Where's the value added of listening to it? Not that I listen to everything. I read other things, or I try to understand it, both sides. But it's already broken, so we're repairing. Mm-hmm. So maybe someday in life, when it's all leveled and we have this thing back together again, I might listen to some of the negative. But right now, we're in a mission. You can't go. It's going to go through. You can't stop it. And right now, and it's also, this tidal wave is much stronger than the negative.
Right.
It's moving. I want to bring this up. I talked about change the environment and change the behaviors. So we change the environment at work, it changes the behaviors of the people. The same thing with this building and the transitional part of this community here. If this hotel wasn't remarkable, it would just be a hotel. And it might have an interest, it might not. But now that this is up, people that care, like you guys, and people from the suburbs, they want the people who really wanted this, but they've been afraid to do it. People that I wish they would do something. Now they're saying, I wish I could do something. And now some of them are saying, I want to go do something too.
Right.
You start that, the spark's been lit. They want to join. So we take people in the hotel and we show them from the suite that we're sitting in right now what the city looks like and what it can look like. And we give them the new vision. Mm-hmm. This is what's going to happen. This is what can happen. And already the architecture is great. These buildings are great. It's not like this is the hardest street. You have to start somewhere.
Right.
And somewhere, which you always start at the point of impact. You don't. The problem with the city is they never had a point. They never defined where the point of impact is.
Right.
So we're defining that the point of impact is 10th Street. Period.
Right.
You can go do whatever you want elsewhere, but you've got to start. You can't start everywhere.
Correct.
But somewhere still in our goal. But people will pick up their ball and make that happen. When they see this, now they have an environmental change. And now, instead of buying a building and just moving in and just kind of fixing it up, now the behavior is, I'm going to really fix it up. I'm going to be part of this transition. And I better go look at my blueprints, and I better make it look cool, and it better fit in, or I'm not going to fit in.
Right.
So now people aren't slipping under the radar buying buildings. Now people that have a little more money are coming in and buying buildings. And that's going to change the behavior of the surrounding area around them. And the people they hire will come in, which changes the environment they came from. If you lived in the suburbs and you came in and all of a sudden you're having this experience in a new environment, it'll change your behaviors and you will want to move in the city.
Yeah.
So you raise the bar and then they raise the bar.
Right. And the bar will continue to get raised and people will continue to come in. And as they come in, values are going to increase. The amount of how people look on the street are going to increase. And what will happen is the people that are walking down being fed by the government, maybe, are going to change their behaviors too. And they're either going to move on or they're going to move up.
Right.
And they'll start getting dressed better. And they'll start buying their clothes from a store. And they'll start looking decent because people want to fit in or they fit out. One or the other.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about behavior and environment are the two big issues that I always look at. If I can change the behavior, then you can change the behavior, you can change the culture.
Mm-hmm.
If you change the culture, you can change everything. It takes a while to change culture. The culture here is very broken.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very the political culture is broken. It's them and us, and it's not. We're all the same.
Yeah.
So we create things where we're all the same, where everybody wants to come and be safe. People want to feel welcome, or feel loved, feel respected. So from that, we're meeting with a lot of leadership. We're meeting with Reading School District and lots of nonprofits, bringing in their students so they can see the environmental change.
Mm-hmm.
So they see there's hope. They can see a different type of Reading.
Right.
So a lot of it's in your head and your mind. First your eyes, then your mind, and then your heart. And you say, well, I want to do that. I want to clean up. I want to be part of that. But we have to have a piece like this to do that with. And this is it. But we are offering up to all kind of people. We're doing meals where we're bringing in, they're called etiquette meals. We're bringing in kids that have nothing at all. And we're bringing them in and giving them a dinner. Because maybe they never sat down at a table.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids have never they eat out of a tuna fish can if they're lucky in these neighborhoods. I don't know if you've ever been in some of these homes, but they're horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get them and you can change them, then they'll say, well, maybe I can be a waitress. But the good thing is now I know how to go eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sounds simple, but it's transitional.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm not angry anymore. I'm not angry. I'm not angry at these business people. Right. These business people are actually here to help me. But a lot of them have been told that the business people are bad.
Right. It's us versus them. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people think that. So therefore they don't want to be in business.
Right. I mean, this was awesome conversation so far. I mean, I did have a couple questions. You answered most of them, but I guess it seems like your type of leadership is a lot different, or maybe not different, but you're almost more of a servant leader than anything else. You serve them. And you talked a lot about it today, but how much more do you think being a servant leader impacts people? And how much more can you get out of them by being a servant leader than by managing them?
This is probably the most profitable thing you can do if you're in business.
Yeah.
They call it conscientious capitalism. There is a group that I'm not. I was alerted by somebody here. That's what I am. I've always told somebody I was a servant leader, that's what I want to be.
Yeah. It's interesting, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. You see how you treat your employees, and you give them lunch. And by the way, Craig took us for a tour today, and it's not like just a lunch that is okay. Here's some sandwiches and deli snack. I mean. It's like, okay, you're going out to a nice buffet, and how does that impact what they do for you? And I guess from a profitability standpoint, from a performance standpoint.
Right. Well, what does turnover cost you?
Yeah.
What does low production? What does anger cost you?
Yeah.
How much better of a job will everybody do in it? How much better if you're a leader, a business owner? How much more productive are you when you're happy?
Right.
So happy people create happy results. Happy people that stay here return more often, they pay more, they stay more, they tell more. So happiness is a huge part of what we work on because it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes money. And the money you make from that is clean.
Right.
So you don't ever feel bad that you took that money or if you get rich out of it because you made a lot of other people rich out of it. You're rich in a lot of lives. So it's making money is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Or you can't exist. And you can't grow and you can't produce more. And you do it with the people that work here and you respect it. Without them, we'd have nothing. And I know we all know that. I know we all say that, but you really live it. Right. Is that really what you mean? We really mean it, and we live it. I hug everybody every day. I know their families. I care about them. We take care of them. Because their families are part of their lives here. The people that work here get more than you'd ever imagine. But it's not. Everybody's different. So some people get a little more. Some people get a little more of this, a little more of this. It's not like everybody gets the same thing. But everybody has their own situations, and we all take care of those situations individually. And as a community of people that all work here, we all support each other. My goal, as I told everybody, I want you, if you don't leave happy at the end of the day, then we didn't win. Mm-hmm. If you made $400 in tips, which would be a lot of money in tips, and you left overworked and tired and exhausted, that's only $400. But if you left with $200 in tips and you left happy and excited, the 200 is much bigger than the 4.
Absolutely.
Because happiness is what it's about at the end. It's all about us being happy, them being happy. It's a simple, very simple philosophy. Happy people don't steal. Happy people don't get sick. Happy people eat better. Their health life is better. Their family lives are better. They don't go home and beat up the cat or the dog or the wife. They go home and they take care of them. Yeah. They take care of their neighbor. So how do you create a happy work environment? How do you create a happy street? If you have a happy street, everybody wants to come there. It's not, we all go to Disney World. People fly from all over the world to go to Disney World because they want to be happy. Pay $100 to get in a door just to be happy. Yeah. It shows you this great desire of people. Just make me happy. And if you make and happiness is trust. So if you're leading through servanthood or through happiness quotient, then everything has to be about that. When we hired everybody, my leadership would interview everybody. And then when they came to me at the end, I was the gatekeeper of happiness. For real. That's the only thing I did.
That's awesome.
Because I already knew they were going to be qualified of some sort. I already knew they bought in. Mm-hmm. But if they didn't fit with the whole happiness, if I didn't think they were going to be happy with this person or somebody else, I didn't want them. We didn't take them. And what happened quickly, the leadership realized I better make sure they're happy people before he comes. Because I just spent a lot of time interviewing somebody and they didn't get hired. And I loved them. Well, that's okay if you love them. They're not nice people.
Right.
They need to go home and learn how to be nice. So somewhere you have to start training people. You got to be nice. Why didn't you get the job? They didn't think I was good, nice enough. Okay, well that's an easy thing to change. Yeah. Become nice. You don't have to go to college to become nice. It's a decision. I met someone yesterday and I said, how are you doing? They said, it's Friday. How do I want to be happy? I said, let me ask you a question. What happens if today was really Monday? You made a choice. You made a choice to be happy. How come you can't have a happy Monday, a happy Tuesday? Why is it you're happy that you're going home? What is wrong with your work that you wish you could stay another hour? How do you make that happen? And those are all choices that we all make and we all drive through how we treat each other, which is not hard to do. It's not rocket science. Somewhere along the line it changed. Like you said, why? It changed. It changed because people got a fear. Fear of losing money. The 9/11 changed. The crash in 2008 changed. We have to tighten it up. We have standards. We had a meeting yesterday, and I said, well, these are the standards. So that means you're going to do average. Do you want to do it? So once we follow the standard, we've already decided we're going to do average work. Mm-hmm. Why do you want to go to work and do average? Why do we want to push people to average? Well, this is what the company says. I said, but the company is not right. Who made the standards? Who said the standard was right? And if the standard's average, the best you're going to do is average. And if you have somebody that's above average, you want to do above average work, they're not going to go home happy. So we have to start thinking, where do we want to be remarkable? Where do we want to be average?
Right.
And average is never going to be, it's not where we're going. We can't do transitional change by doing average.
There's been so many takeaways out of this interview where if people aren't taking them and then utilizing them almost immediately after they listen to this, they're stupid. And I hate to say it that way, but it's true. I mean, I've literally picked up so many gems just sitting here talking to you. But one thing I did want to touch on, and I said this earlier, and you'd mentioned Disney World. A much cheaper option than flying down to Florida and going to Disney World is flying into Reading.
Right.
Staying at the DoubleTree. Because I kid you not, it has a Disney World feel in this place.
Thanks.
Between the smiles on everybody's faces, to how they greet you, to how you personally, Craig, greet your customers and the people that are here, and just you make them feel welcome. And I have not felt that or seen that in any other place other than Disney World. And I said that earlier today. This is legit. Hey guys, we really hope you enjoyed the information that was just shared with Craig Poole. Unfortunately, as you can tell, it got cut off abruptly at the end there. With that being said, I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what we missed. There wasn't too much left. First, we asked Craig, what tip can you give to help other people of influence to affect the community around them? His answer was, start with yourself. Continue to work on yourself, see the change in yourself, and you will make everybody else around you greater. Love those people as best you can and understand that they can become great. We also did a rapid fire questions with him, and he had some great answers. Some made us chuckle. Unfortunately, the sound was too messed up for us to even decipher what it said. But we really hope that what you heard in there, all those amazing nuggets that Craig had, we hope that you took something away from this interview. There were so many that Zach and I jotted down and took notes of, and hopefully something that we can inspire you guys and the communities around you. If you like what we had here today, make sure you head over to Facebook and enjoy the Growth Now movement over there. Hopefully you guys can add to the conversation there, maybe give us some questions for future interviews, and let us know what you guys want to hear. We look forward to seeing you over there. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening and joining the Growth Now movement. This podcast was created to get you to where you want to go. Hopefully it helps as you take action on your Growth Now journey.